Hey survivors, it's your sister from another mister, Lovely Fly Shy, back with another video. First and foremost, I hope you all are having a very pleasant and, just light-spirited and content-filled evening thus far. Tonight's video, we are going to get deep, so let me go ahead before I even jump into the segment for tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into the disclaimer very quickly. Alrighty, you all, so I do not intend in any way, shape, or form to trigger any of you all, to upset any of you guys, because I understand how painful some of the things that I'll be discussing. I understand how painful it is to have to, live through and grow up and still be plagued with the memory, and our body keeps a score. That's actually a title from a book that I truly look forward to reading. But that is a very true statement. Our bodies keep the score. So, I want you all to get comfortable. I hope you guys don't mind the fact that I'm really raising my voice because I was going to attach my mic, but the way that I have my ring light set up, it's not gonna reach. So, I have to raise my voice. Get comfortable though. This is going to be I'm going to try to keep it 30 minutes and under, but I have a lot to say. So if you would like to hear what I have to say, certainly stick around. But yeah, let me just take a quick drink of water. Okay, let me sit up straight. That's one thing I've really been practicing. Sitting with shoulders relaxed and back, your core straight, your back straight. Yeah. That was just random, but yeah. So, the title of this video is A Deeper Look into Childhood Trauma, plus how it shaped us. Oh my gosh, I just butchered that like hell. I'll start over though. A deeper look into childhood trauma, plus how it shapes us, my perspective. So I decided to take some notes because I guess some of the most important points that I wanted to make and some questions that I not only wanted to ask myself or what I did ask myself, but some questions that I'd like to suggest to you all to, kindly ask yourselves. Okay. So, why does childhood shape us into who we are today? Do you all have any significant reason behind that? My perspective is, in certain traumatic events, we completely lose our sense of this world around us. We lose our sense of this reality and our sense of safety. And that can manifest itself into many different symptoms and ailments as we grow and as our brain or as our body protects us, as time progresses. And one of the things that I notice and what I know to be true is that paranoia and hypervigilance is a strong manifestation, and it is something that, although this makes me very, I guess you could say, a little embarrassed or ashamed to admit, I still deal with the feelings of either paranoia or hypervigilance. All it will take is just the wrong sound, the wrong movement. Like, I just don't like, for example, I don't like when anyone walks so fast, either behind me or anywhere close to me. Like, I don't like anyone walking so fast up to me, because it just reminds me and it triggers me to those moments where I was invaded. You know, a person is, you know, taking advantage of me or of you, and yeah, we develop certain triggers based off of the experience, I believe. See, I get a lot of not only body sensations, which then catapults me back into that memory, or as we all know, I have a flashback. But I get all it can take really is just a certain scent, a certain smell. And here I am, I'm back in that moment. And it's just like, well, okay, what is the cure? What is the solution to stop this? You know, see, I used to ignorantly believe that, oh, well, you know, I did the work, right? You know, I addressed these things. You know, I called, whether it was my mother, I called her out, whether she wants to acknowledge what occurred, whether she knew, whether she pretends not to know, whatever. The case of the matter is, this situation still happened. You know, and I think what happens in these families when these secrets come out that have been hidden is these families are so quick to either protect their own image, because they care more about their image and how they are perceived by the outside world, as opposed to getting to the root of the cause, you know, getting to the nitty-gritty and actually taking action. And I often ask myself, I wonder, I'm like, well, would things have been much different had my mom simply just, you know, the moment I told her, or whatever the case was, had she just simply acknowledged it, you know, instead of making me feel like it was my fault, further victimizing me, blaming me, victim blaming, which is the worst thing you can do to anyone, a child especially. And a lot of those memories would come up, a lot of the things my mom would say when I would tell her things. Or I guess you could say when I would have one of my breakdowns. I haven't shared it with you all on this channel, but when I was a teenager, I suffered the most with the flashbacks. And unbeknownst to me, I was being severely gaslit by my mother, who would in turn, once I voiced out loud what it is that occurred, I was told that I was crazy, that I had made it all up. Basically, I pulled it out of my ass somewhere. And for what? So I wonder, well, she would have done the thing that I would have done, like, you know, first take action. I'm gonna take action first. Especially if I know who the motherfucker is, who the perpetrator was, and I can access them easily, I'm taking action. Wrong or right, right or wrong. You're not going to invade mine and think I'm going to let you get away with it. You see, the times that we are in today, globally, And as a collective, revenge returns so fucking fast. And sometimes you have to take it into your own hands. Now, don't take that out of context though, because you also have to think about the consequences of your actions. But who's going to be thinking clearly if their child has expressed the things that I expressed to my mother? Nobody would be thinking clearly. Nobody would give a damn about the consequences until, whatever. So my point is, I just wonder, like, would our relationship today, would it be any stronger? Like, would we even have a relationship? Would we be close? It's sad because my mom was invaded as well. After years of speculation and just me having an inner sense of knowing like something is wrong, I had never seen my mom do drugs. She did, I'm not gonna lie, she did used to abuse Excedrin PMs and stuff like that. She did. I don't know if she still does it or not. I haven't talked to my mom in like 3 months. But growing up, my mom, she would, drink. I didn't even really see my mom drink that much. Like, if she was like at a party or she'd come back from the casino, maybe had a couple of drinks, but I can't say my mom was an alcoholic, but it's crazy how shit gets passed down from generation to generation. And she finally told me, this was back in 2016. I had her mother, my grandmother, living with me at the time. Long story. I really go into depth about the actual scene and the night and everything, but I'm going to share some of it with you guys tonight. But I go into depth about it in my book. Because for some reason, I know you all may beg to differ, but I feel as though I'm a better writer as opposed to communicating verbally. But, practice makes perfect. So, but yeah, back to the point. Me and my mom were on the phone, and I don't really recall. I'll have to go back and look at that journal entry from that night to see how that conversation veered into, my mom finally coming clean and telling me, that she was violated as well. Someone had violated her in her childhood. And see, this type of abuse, sexual abuse, I think, physical abuse, mental, verbal, that's all horrible, just spirit-breaking forms of abuse, right? But there's something about sexual abuse, which is why I'm so not interested in it, in any negative way, but it's in understanding, like, why does this break us to the core? Like, why does it break us the way it does? To the point where either you grow up and repeat the behavior, you grow up and, you become an abuser because of your abuse, or you become, a neglectful, unattentive, just, you don't know how to give love because you haven't received it. And that's why I'm no longer angry with my mom. But at the same time, I'm still holding her accountable. Because the moment we become adults, and, God blessed us all and graced us all with a sound mind, Ain't none of us stupid. But, when my mom told me all that stuff, I was just like, damn. Like, I already kind of knew, like, either you're crazy lady or, something happened along the lines. And there was other things that happened in her past, too, that I understand that's why she was shaped into who she is today. But it's like, it's just so not fascinating, because I kind of feel freaking strange about saying it's fascinating, because it's absolutely horrendous and terrible and horrible. But the way my brain works is I want to get to the, okay, of course the act is just terrible, it's disgusting, right? But what happens in the moments immediately after? what happens to us in those moments? Does a total shift take place? Does like a second self come in to like protect us? Does something, like what happens up here is what I'm trying to learn. And I know a lot of people say, well, we repress things, we suppress and this and that. I understand that, you know, because I have a lot of suppressed emotions, you know, as far as just as I'm working and doing my shadow work. If you all aren't familiar with that, you know, as we all know, you guys, this world that we're living in, it's a duality, you know, yin and yang, good and bad, dark and light. So there's dark and light to each and every one of us. We're not perfect. So I just feel like that's why I feel like, you know, we're just so much more powerful than what we have been made to believe. But that's another video, you guys, because it's just gonna get deep. What is this? Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I will expand or compound on this. 1 minute, though. My sincerest apologies, family. It never fails. Every time I get good and into doing something, to no avail. Here comes somebody trying to be a bugaboo or trying to work my nerve, the last bit of nerve I got left. But yes, so my biggest, I guess, philosophy about childhood trauma and generational curses and things like that is, well, you know, who decides where it ends? You know, who decides where, you know, it stops with me? Enough is enough. Like, I'm not passing this down to my kids. You know, I'm not going to parent my kids how I was parented. You know, and I have to, you know, I have to ground myself a lot, and I have to remind myself, because there are times that in my adulthood as a 26-year-old young lady, I still can hear my mother just screaming and hollering at me like I'm just a piece of trash at the top of her lungs, taking like every piece of sadistic amount of anger out on me, you know, or the rest of whatever other sibling of mine that she chose to rain down her abuse on. But I have to remind myself, like, you know, when I get frustrated with my kids, because, you know, I'm not perfect. I have a 7-year-old that's going on 77, and this girl, she's at the stage where, you know, she's getting a little mouthy, she's getting a little lippy. And the way I was raised, I couldn't voice my opinion. I couldn't, some of the stuff my daughter be saying, and it's not like, she don't mean any harm by it, but it's like, you know, I do have to correct and, you know, address the behavior. But I have to remind myself, like, the moments when the frustration gets up here and it's like, you want to go, but then you're like, oh no, wait a minute. Because like when I look at my 7-year-old, I see me like all over again. Like my 2-year-old, she's her dad's twin, but my 7-year-old, she looks just like me. Like as a kid, she's just lighter complexion. But needless to say all that, the point is, even today, knowing all that shit that I went through, you know, with my mom, and you know, all of the pain that still remains inside of me, I have to remind and ground myself, like, hey, you know, get it together, because you know that pain all too well. We're not passing down generational curses to our kids. We're not passing down generational curses down to our grandkids, and so on and so forth. You know, 2021, this planetary shift that's going on, I'm telling you guys, like, if you all aren't hip to it, you in for a rude awakening. And this is just in all aspects, whether that's us going within ourselves, you know, us healing our past traumas, you know, delving back into our childhoods and kind of like having to relive certain things in order to truly put it behind us. You know, because there are things that I have not talked about. You know, I have not voiced out loud to anyone, not even, you know, a therapist, nobody. Because it's not that I don't have the courage to, but there's just some deep shit when it comes to being violated, and or when it comes to just any kind of just, all I could say is this, like, it takes a true and strong and brave, courageous person to dive back down that rabbit hole and to have to like relive things that you've been protected from all these years. But you know, it's necessary. It truly is. Because I feel like if we continue to live our lives as if, you know, as if there's no pain inside of us, as if there's nothing needed within us that we need to address, then we are just going to continue to attract what's inside of us. That's why I am doing this shadow work, because I don't want to attract any more narcissists, because I've dealt with codependency, and I have been a codependent person in the past. You know, the first codependent narcissistic relationship that I guess you could say I had was with my mother. It's a kind of a strange dynamic, you know, because I used to do all these things, you know, dying and crying and just begging for her attention, begging for her approval. Mom, just tell me that you're proud of me. Mom, just tell me that you see me. Mom, just tell me that you love me, to the point where, you know, you don't just say, oh, I love you, and then it's like you don't give eye contact. There's no feeling, there's no depth behind I love you. If I can't feel that you really and truly actually love me, like, that's kind of a tough life, you know. But in the same token, this is my time, you know, in this time of isolation, in this period of learning just as much as I can, you guys, because knowledge is power. Like, mental health is the new wealth, period. I don't care about riches or nothing about like any of that right now, because I wouldn't be able to enjoy any of that stuff until I deal with what it is inside of me, you know, that needs addressed or healing, you know. And so I think about a lot, you know. I feel like the only way that I'll be able to talk to my mom again is she would have to truly just say, hey, you know, this doesn't make me feel good. I know that I don't even want her to I don't even want her to persecute herself, because that's not going to make me feel good, because I know it's so crazy, but like, you know, that's my mom. So at the end of the day, like, regardless of what my mom has done, what she's allowed, you know, regardless of how stubborn I can be, like, you know, I still love my mom, and I still feel for her, and I pity her more than anything. You know, she's about in her 40s, you know, and it's like, girl, you have time. You're still in your prime. And I feel as though if she could just address it, do the necessary healing work, like, and be really open, authentically transparent, ready, like, she can't be faking it to make it, like, but, you know, I can only heal myself. I can only heal those that, you know, are willing to do the work. You know, I know what work I'm doing. I know what it is that I'm doing, you know, but it's deep. These scars run very, very deep, you guys. Healing is a process. Healing is a journey. Healing is lifelong. Healing isn't because, oh, well, you know, I cried a little bit over this, or I cried a little bit over that, and I released it, or so I thought. But no, it's still there. You know, we go through so many different cycles in our lives. You know, just, man, it's crazy. But I just know it does end with me. I know that I'm not even nowhere near, probably close to where God, like, just, I know I'm getting there, but my highest self, like, just what I envision, what I see, the glimpses and the visions that God allows me to see, it is just beautiful. And I know that you all can have this enrichment and this fulfillment and this redemption as well. You know, that's why I'm so open, and I'm just willing to share these things with you guys, because we are survivors. I am a survivor. I am not a victim. I am not sick. I am healing. It's all in the language, baby, and it's all in the mind. Mind over matter. You decide what matters. You know. There's a lot of deep healing work that I am taking on. And it's not going to be easy, because I was called, you know, this is my calling, to heal my lineage. And I know that may sound like, to you all, or to some of you, I won't even categorize all of you, because I know a lot of you on here are very high-spirited free thinkers. And you know what it is and you know what it ain't, basically. And what I mean by that is you can see through this illusion. And so if we can just kind of get through the things that are hindering us from being able to reach even higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of awareness, then we'll see what all of this was about, all of the pain, you know, all of the different experiences that we had to go through. It wasn't in vain at all. You know, and the reason why I say that healing is something that is just, it's not, you know, my ex used to always tell me, just get over it. No, I'm sorry. I'm not like you. I can't just sweep things under the rug and then just go around abusing people because I am upset, angry, and I don't want to do the work. So I am just going to take out my anger, frustrations, and all of the pain and suffering I had to go through. I'm going to take that on you. No, we aren't going to be anyone's doormats, punching bags. No. We need to start telling these mofos, these low energy, low vibe, just these people that are just woe is me, always got some type of struggle story, always got some type of just excuse for not doing the work. You know, we need to X some people out, because it takes a courageous person to do this. And what I mean by that is just a person to be able to, you know what? All right, y'all. So I'm back. My apologies. I had to quickly run to go and get my medicine, my marijuana. See, this is why I broke my back teeth doing stupid shit like that. Y'all see me check though. So I'm about to have some of this. I don't know why my camera never wants to focus, but I'm getting a new phone because this shit is getting on my nerves. Alright. Yeah, so to get back on the topic of childhood trauma though, and how it shapes us, this is one thing that I would like to add. I noticed that a lot of people who have any kind of childhood traumas, oh my God, hold on. They have some sort of addiction. You know, I know that is very common in anyone who has had any kind of, you know, traumatic event take place. And as I'm putting the pieces of my puzzle together, I realized that, despite whatever else may have went into play, like, you know, chemical imbalances and things like that, just hereditary shit that I didn't have no say in any damn way. But I do think that my trauma was one of the biggest culprits of me, you know, becoming an addict and, you know, a recovering addict. Let me change my language. I am a recovering addict. But you see, I guess, and by the way, this is legal. I'm gonna try to zoom that in when I edit, but this is legal THC lean. So, anyway, I need this, y'all, because I need to sleep. Anyway, it was one of the biggest reasons, though, because I just wanted to numb the pain. Like, I didn't want to think about what the hell happened to me. I felt like nobody, and I mean nobody, is gonna force me to think about this and deal with it. You know, I went to my own mother, and you see how I was treated because of that, or in doing that, and nothing changed. It only simply got worse. You know, the lies got stronger, the manipulation got stronger, all to uphold an outward image for people who either are fighting the same fucking demons as my mom or don't even give a damn about her in the first place. My mom has a weird circle of so-called friends. It's just weird. They're all like energy vampires in a way, all sucking and feeding off one another. And then, you know, when one pisses off another, then this one goes and gossips about that one. And then when one needs that one that they was just gossiping about, then they gonna go call that one because they need them now. So they gonna fake the phone. That's why y'all, This is why I have trust issues, because I see it firsthand with my mama, firsthand, man. It's just sad. But, you know, trauma shapes us. We either become extremely strong, aware, courageous, brilliant, determined, in spite of any form of abuse we may have suffered. We are still thriving and destined for success. Or, you know, for some, it's easy to just fall into that mode of just giving in to the enemy, giving in to the enemy's request and need to destroy you. So whatever came in, whatever hurt and harmed you, you holding on to it for the rest of your life, you're basically just ruining your own life. And that's something I had to learn, you know? Which is why I'm at a place today where I can say, you know what? I love my mom. I forgive my mom because she only did what she could with what she had. Now, I ain't gonna hold her for that, but I'm choosing to take what I had, to take what she poured down or poured into me, and I'm going to turn it into a positive. I'm going to turn it into a tool, you know, to break this. It's something called choices. We all have them, you know, and I'm just thankful that no matter what took place in my life, I have the courage and the will and the dignity to come and share my story. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad. Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna keep on trucking. I'm gonna keep on fighting, you know, and it's just an ongoing thing. You know, if I can help some of you out there, I would love to. You know, I'm actually working on some stuff right now because as I grow and, you know, I'm learning right now, I'm in my hermit mode because I'm trying to learn as much as I can and become knowledgeable about many different aspects about myself, mental health, psychology, and just about humanity as a whole and our purpose. Like, why are we here? You know, these are the questions I'm asking. Like, why was I placed on this earth? What is my mission on this earth? And then, you know, when you begin to ask yourself those questions, you begin to receive answers. So, on that note, I just would like to leave you with this. You've been hurt before. You've been broken. You've been traumatized. But today, in this present moment, in this time today, you have survived. You've made it. Give yourself more credit than you give yourself. You see, it's not in what happened to us that shapes us. I think it's what we do with okay, excuse me. Let me rearrange this because I can get tongue-tied. I believe it's what we do with what was done to us that shapes us. So if we choose to become these angry, rageful, abusive perpetrators, then that's what our life is going to reflect. But if we choose to take that pain, not only learn from it, share your truths with others, but overcome it. You know, use your pain as your purpose. It gets real, y'all. It gets real, I'm telling you. So, wait a minute. Sorry, I just had a random thought. I hope this girl didn't jip me. I'm gonna have to look at my receipt. Anywho, all I have to say, just this is it, and then after this, I gotta call it a night because it's my little THC lane already kicking in. You know, keep your spunk about yourself. Keep your sense of humor.